You're here because you want to know how Ozempic works, why it works, and why does everybody want to take it? Well, let's get into it. In September 2024, I was diagnosed diabetes type 2. And when my provider told me that, it wasn't a big surprise because diabetes runs in my family. And so I knew that my turn would come up because it was starting to hit my generation of cousins. And so when she told me that, it was scary, but I was like, okay, what are we going to do? Because she told me that I was just over the threshold of it. My numbers weren't that bad, but I was officially diabetic type 2. So I said, what are we going to do? Because I'm not doing metformin. I just did not want to do that. I just heard things about it, but I didn't want to take a pill every day. I certainly didn't want this diabetes to advance to the point where I had to take insulin because I would be worried of how I would take care of my health. I wasn't sure that I would take care of myself, right? So she said, well, I can start you on Ozempic. We can try it. Now, I had heard a little bit about Ozempic only from Hollywood people are taking Ozempic to lose weight. I'd heard about it probably a couple of years ago when the craze started and people were losing weight so rapidly. But it wasn't meant for them just to lose weight. It's really expensive. If you don't have insurance and your insurance is not going to cover it, it is very expensive. And people were willing to pay it just to lose weight because Ozempic works and it's so crazy. So anyway, so I said, okay, well, I'll try it. I kind of asked her about it and she said, well, it just kind of slows down not your metabolism, but slows down your digestion. That's why it works. It keeps you feeling kind of full, but then there's also side effects that you might feel nausea sometimes, constipation. You have to drink lots of water, and make sure you get your protein, because when you lose weight, the fat in your face, you don't want to have like what they call Ozempic face. I certainly do not want that. I kind of like my oval face. I don't want things to start looking like they're sliding. So I'm like, okay, I'll follow all of the instructions. I'll follow your advice because I wanted to lose weight, but I wanted to do it right. I didn't want to just be to fall into this craze where I was losing weight and then I wanted to keep losing weight and then I ended up looking very skinny. So that's just not, I don't want to be skinny. I like my figure, but I needed to trim down and get rid of the weight that I had because, it's just unhealthy for me. I didn't want to carry that weight. So if something was going to help me get rid of it and stay off of just other measures like insulin and so forth. Sometimes you just have to take insulin, I suppose, but I want to put that off as long as possible, and hopefully I will never have to do it. But anyway, because everybody's different, because every body is different, and so maybe I would never have to do that. But anyway, so we started with the Ozempic. I got my first delivery in the mail, and I designate like once a week. So I chose Sunday because that's kind of like the beginning of the week for me. That's how I look at it. I know people say Monday is, but I don't know. But I do it every Sunday, which day is Sunday, so I'll do it in a little bit. I will not do that on camera. I've seen people do it, and I just think that's just a little bit private. but so, but those side effects, I was like, okay, I can deal with that. When I went back to see her, I'd already lost like 4 pounds that couple weeks, but I did that on my own because once she told me I was diabetic, I was proactive and I said, I just have to, just like when I found out I had cancer, I just cut out the sugar and the bad eating and things like that. And so I lost 4 pounds in 2 weeks. So anyway, she said, wow, you already lost 4 pounds. So I started my Ozempic, went back 3 months later, I lost 14 pounds. And so far, I've lost almost 25 pounds. Um, I've gone down 2 dress sizes. I keep my clothes. I do not get rid of them. I don't accept I've got to move up in dress size. No. I mean, I've had to do that, but now I can't fit those clothes anymore. So either I'm going to have them tailored or just donate them or get rid of them because, and I have some of my favorite clothes, I can wear them again. And I like it. And I like the weight that I've lost. But let me tell you, um, the side effects sometimes, because there's pros and cons to everything, right? So the side effects really, sometimes I'm like, oh, why am I doing this? But I realize I was told beforehand, what's going to happen, and people stop taking it, and they need to take it because they're very overweight, or um, their diabetes, and they say, I just don't want to take Ozempic. It helps me. I don't know, because I feel so good now that that weight has gone away, and I don't want to lose really any more weight. I want to maintain it. I like being the size that I am, maybe a couple of more pounds, but that is it. I really don't want to be skinny. That's just not my style. It doesn't go with my look. Like I said, I'm 6'1", and so if I was skinny, it would just look kind of sickly, and I don't need to lose that weight. But one of the worst side effects is if I have breakfast, then I may make a smoothie or something for lunch because I'm not hungry. But you have to have something. You have to make sure you have your fruits and your vegetables. Make sure, because you don't want to lose things, because when you're not hungry and you don't really think about food a lot, and that's the honest truth, you don't really think about eating a lot. And that's why it works, because you can just keep going and you're feeling okay. And next thing you know, it's like evening, it's dinner time, and you're like, oh, I didn't even eat lunch today. Well, that's not necessarily good, because you need to eat something. So I make sure I eat, even if I just have like a little sandwich, or I'll have some grapes and like some vegetable, just like a little plate for lunch, with some cheese cubes or something, and some nuts, and like, just something. And even that makes me feel very satisfied. But I tell you what, it keeps me nice and trim, and I like it. So and every time when I have an appointment coming up, but I test my sugar, and or your glucose. Testing your sugar, that's like a slang, diabetic term, but I check my glucose, and it's always really good, because I'm not an emotional eater anymore, because half the time I'm not hungry. I had a salad today, a Waldorf salad today for lunch, and it was really good, and it was satisfying. But that was like 1 o'clock or so, and I know I really won't be hungry later, but I will eat something, just to eat something for dinner, because you do have to do that. So don't just, if you're thinking about Ozempic, don't not eat. People say, well, you don't have to follow a clock. You on Ozempic, you do. You better eat something, because your face is going to be looking like, you don't want that Ozempic face. And I've seen pictures of people, and it's because they're losing fat. They're losing too much fat, and they're not drinking. And you can have kidney problems if you don't do that. So there are precautions, and please do not try to get Ozempic on a black market, or from a friend who has a lot of needles and they're willing to sell you. Don't do that, because your body, you may not be able to handle it. Seek out advice from a doctor. Do things right. But yeah, I just wanted to share this story briefly, because people ask me, how's Ozempic going for you? Do you like it? How do you feel? And like I said, the pros are this: I lost weight at a rapid pace. Honestly, I mean, I think losing 25 pounds from September to May, that's, for me, that's fast. It may not be for somebody else, but yeah, but the side effects of feeling nauseous a lot in the evening, especially if I eat dinner um, after 6 or 7, it takes a couple of hours, and then I'm feeling nauseous, like my food is above, like at my rib cage or something. It's hard to explain, but I have to take a Tums. So those are some of the things that I hate about it, just the way you feel, but that passes, you know. I'm definitely not going to stop taking it. You know, I'm not saying I will take it forever, but if it's going to help maintain and keep my diabetes at bay, I mean, at this point, I think I'm just really technically um, diabetic because I don't really have any problems. I don't have to take any pills or, you know, I check my glucose and it's good. So I just want to keep it that way. But yeah, I love the Ozempic. Let me tell you, it's worked for me. And I really, I'm a fan. So, you know, but like I said, I never encourage people, you need to take Ozempic because my doctor recommended it. And if my doctor hadn't recommended it, I probably would have done something else because I wouldn't jump on a craze like that. People get sick jumping on a health craze or a get skinny quick craze. I've never done that. Fad diets and things like that. Just cut back on what you eat. That usually helps cut out the junk food, you know, and things like that. But anyway, that's my Ozempic story. Nothing major. I don't have anything bad to say about it. Just a couple of side effects, you know, just do things right. Do your research, uh, seek counsel from the doctors. Don't up your dose without checking with your doctor. Don't even start Ozempic unless a physician is telling you that they think it's good, it would work for you, because it is something that you put in your body and it's changing your digestive system. And so you need to be under a doctor's care with it. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. And I hope you gleaned a little something from it, or, you know, I really hesitated to do this video because I didn't want to make it seem like I was promoting Ozempic, but I do get a lot of questions about it. As people say, you've lost so much weight, they could tell. And, you know, I tell them, well, I'm on Ozempic. Why are you doing Ozempic? Because I'm diabetic. You know, sometimes you do get the judgmental, why are you doing Ozempic? You don't need to. Well, I do because I'm diabetic and I don't want to be overweight so that I have to start taking insulin and things like that. So yeah, that's you know, that's why I did this video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you know, want to hear more story times like this, because I'm just, I don't know, it seems like I'm just willing to come on here and chit chat and share a lot about me. And if it helps somebody, you know, that's what I like doing. So yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. I really enjoyed talking to you guys, and I hope you're having a good Sunday, and we'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.